Cardinals, best team of all time?
Ooh.
This is a real question.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you why I'm asking this question. Because going into this Rams at home against the Cardinals game, I legitimately thought to myself, okay, the Rams are about to dog walk this Cardinals team.
Yep.
And the Rams are about to cement their legacy as, maybe they will go 17-0. Maybe that defense that has obviously Aaron Donald, who's an absolute stud, but also Jalen Ramsey playing a floating position where he's a safety, he's a will, he's an outside linebacker, he's Mike on some plays, he's an absolute stud. Matthew Stafford getting an opportunity to play alongside an offensive weapon staff that he could only dreamed about whenever he was up there in Detroit. It was going to be, here we go, Sean McVay kicks a quarterback out that he paid $100 million to, said, benched him at the end of his run even. So now is McVay get back season as well? I thought this was the Rams going to go, especially after what they did to Tom in Tampa a week ago. And then all of a sudden, this Cardinals team, as I'm watching that game, I start slowly evolving. I'm like, wait a minute, are the Cardinals going to go 17? Now, NFC West is going to be very difficult. Okay, I'm not just because the Rams and the Niners, but Seahawks apparently have learned how to play football and win football again. They beat they looked very good against that Niners team.
Oh, yeah.
It's Trey Lance time in San Fran, by the way. Jimmy G has a calf, and it seems to be going well with the Trey Lance beginning of the period there. Shanahan came out afterwards and said, that's why he was the number 2 quarterback. Okay, so there were some things we saw there. Being a rookie quarterback is incredibly difficult because defenses are doing something that they don't ever do in the college game, and you got to pick it up at such a different level and a high level, and there's a lot going on, the speed of the game, no matter how fast you are, and you're number 3 overall pick, and they traded like 3 first-rounders in the future for. There's a lot of pressure in that whole thing. Trey Lance did not look amazing, okay, in this particular game. Now, will it be different when he's the starting quarterback, whenever the game plan is for Trey Lance to be a starter? Will the game look different? And George Kittle obviously wasn't as healthy as you would hope, or I guess he was potentially going to be out on Thursday. Yeah. But the NFC West is a problem, okay? All the teams are good. We don't know what Trey Lance and the Niners are going to look like with Trey Lance going forward, but Russell Wilson's still there. The Rams are still the Rams, or are they, after what the Cardinals did to them yesterday? This Cardinals team, if you do recall, started out, Chandler Jones had 5 sacks in the first fucking game. Now, Taylor Lewan was coming back from an ACL. That was his first game, really. It was a whole... That Buda Baker? He's a fucking stud. J.J. Watt seems to be making plays over there. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Kyler Murray is running faster than everybody still. And it seems like his vision, his intensity, his emotion, his passion, and obviously at year 4, his year 3, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, year 3. His knowledge for the game, it's probably all slowing down for him. We got a chance to chat with him in the offseason. He said, we just got to be more consistent. So I think they acknowledged that they weren't as professional as they had to be. Cliff Kingsbury seems to have a little bit more juice, a little bit more emotion, a little bit more invested. He was thrown into being an NFL head coach out of fucking nowhere. He lost at Texas Tech. He's a offensive coordinator at USC for a month. Then he's the head coach of the fucking Arizona Cardinals out of nowhere. Probably swimming in the deep end a little bit. Seems like they got it figured out, and they got a lot of talent. They got Prater kicking, Andy Lee bombing balls. They got veterans on the roster. They brought in a bunch of Pro Bowls into the roster this past offseason. The owners flying the fucking plane around the country picking up these people, saying, hey, you want to come out to the desert? Phoenix is awesome. 5th largest city in America. That team could go. And Kyler, I think, has proven he can go. I rode quite a roller coaster of cash and emotion last year with this team betting on them. They would beat the hell out of somebody. Kyler would hit a little stutter step on a professional athlete and make them look stupid. He'd get around them. And then the next week, they'd lose to a bad team. And then the week following, they'd be great. It'd be close. And then they'd lose at the end. They wouldn't be able to win it. Then they'd win, blow somebody out, and they'd show all the highlights. I think them putting the pieces together, bringing in vets over there, fucking awesome to watch them do what they did to the Rams yesterday. That is big dog in their division right now. And they weren't scared at all in that spaceship that is fucking SoFi.
Yeah, to your point, like if you told me the Cardinals beat the Rams, I would say, okay, so DeAndre Hopkins had 4 touchdowns and they made it happen. But like A.J. Green had 1, James Conner had 2. I feel like all the pieces they brought in is why that they're going to be much more consistent because they have so many other guys that can answer the bell now.
I think that veteranness is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Because there's only things that you can learn through experience. in the things you can learn, it's not necessarily just schematics and schemes. It's also situations. Like, all right, when this happens, this happened to us, and you get either heartbroken or distraught, or something happens so bad that you don't want to do it again. You know, like, hey, I don't want this shit happening to me again, so I'm not going to fucking do whatever happened to lead to this point again. And in the NFL, there's a lot of that. There's things like that happen where guys either jump off sides in big moments and how terrible they feel. They decide, like, okay, I'm not going to do this again, so they work on it, they change on that. But as a team growing, and in those close games, putting your fucking foot on the throat as opposed to letting somebody back in there. Kyler coming out afterwards in a press conference, fresh air, by the way, fresh. He comes in the press conference and he said, yeah, we just did our job. Basically, we're just winning. Like, it's not that big of a deal to go get a massive win. Now, I'm not saying Kyler is ever, overly enthusiastic or emotional.
Right.
But he was saying all the things that you would want to hear if you were part of that Red Sea over there in Phoenix that has a stadium that their grass actually walks out fucking side to get the sun and then comes right back inside. They're building it right over there. That place is fucking going right now. What's up, Nick?
Further to that point, credit to them for bringing in the right veterans, because you've seen both sides of the coin. You came into the league on a veteran-led team that did things the right way. You've also been part of a rebuilding team that added a bunch of high-priced veteran free agents who didn't really seem to gel so much as a team.
We paid a lot of money to a lot of people, and there's a couple that really fit into the culture, like Eric Walden.
Yeah.
We paid Eric Walden to come out of Green Bay, I believe. And as soon as he joined our roster, he took 93, by the way, which is Freeney's number. Freeney just left, so I think that was like, I think a lot of people were like, okay. I think this number probably should be retired for at least a year. At least it's fucking Dwight Freeney. But he came in and just bought in immediately. And I think when you think about guys like A.J. Green, all I want to do is win. It's all all I want to do is win. I don't care. J.J. Watt has always been like the Uber team guy, so much so that he almost got into a fight with the coach for doing something. Like, I think that is right, and it seems like a camaraderie factor was looked at as they were trying to make their decisions on who to bring in, which is fucking nice to hear. Old Steve Keim over there. I've heard from a lot of people, good time. Okay, likes to have a good time, and is also a guy. So I think he understands that, like, the group's chemistry is a big deal. I think those that don't understand that are probably more isolated humans, people that are more so, they do things by themselves. They don't fully understand the power of a group, and the power of why a group is potentially powerful is because of how much they like each other and are willing to do stuff for each other as opposed to just with each other. Like, I think that's a big fucking deal. So to your point, Nick, I do like that it seems like they built this thing the right way and said, we're going to pay J.J. Watt an amount of money that nobody thought was possible.
Nope.
But we think if we get him in our defensive room, not only will he make plays, and he'll be out there training in the lake with his brother, and squatting with his high school lifting coach again. His off season, he'll be back too. He'll feel fresh. Phoenix air is awesome. I mean, he'll fucking love it out here. But also, what he potentially brings to our team is maybe a sense of togetherness that we haven't had for a long time. I don't know if that's what JJ's like. It seems like that's what everybody says it is, but fucking good for them, man. I did not expect them to do what they did to the Rams at all.
Well, and I think you can see Kyler is taking that next step, right in front of our eyes, because the big knock on him last year, you talked about them being inconsistent. Like, some games you would be able to tell almost from the get-go, he seems disinterested today. But he was showing passion out there on the field, fist pumping and stuff, doing stuff that he doesn't usually do, and he's unbelievable.
He's on a gaming team that's in LA, right?
FaZe Clan?
Yeah.
I think he's on FaZe.
I assume the boys from FaZe were in the. I mean, there ain't no way there's no way he was going to lose in front of his boys from FaZe.
That's actually a good point.